Who are you? It may well sound a really surreal question to start this particular video, I grant you, but it's a serious question. Yeah, who are you? And you may well be thinking, yes, look, of course I know who I am, and I should hope so, yes. But are you being true to yourself? Are you being your true, authentic, genuine self? A surreal way to start a video, I'm sure you'd agree. Look, it's Dave Williams here with the Weekly Wisdom, and I thought I'd do things slightly different this week by firing a question to start off with. And the reason why I'm actually doing that is, yeah, there seems to be so much going on as far as life is concerned at the moment. And with being poorly over the last week or so, couple of weeks, it's possibly given me time to think apart from anything else, and that's scary in itself. But also take a step back and see what's going on. And maybe you're like I am, and you're actually seeing that there's so much going on that it's as if there's an awful lot of BS going on. Yeah, and it's like, excuse the French, but bullshit bingo. Yeah, so many people seem to be saying and doing things, and it's as if one-upmanship all the time. Now, I've seen that personally with people that I know, that some of the posts, etc., that they put out, I'm thinking, that ain't you. And that's just some of the people that I know. And for obvious reasons, we're not going to name names there. But hey, that's down to them. But it's not just them, it's other people. It's organisations and that are doing it as well. And there was something that I saw the other day, and I just can't remember the exact figures, so please excuse my apologies. Excuse my apologies? No, accept my apologies. There was a report that I saw, and it was along the lines of new employees have actually found that, I think it was 79% felt that at interview, the image that the company gave to them was totally different to what the image was when they started with them. Now, for me, I find that really, really scary. Now, if you've ever been for an interview, maybe you've had similar experiences, definitely to what I have. And that is the fact of an interview, you promised X, Y, and Z. And then when you actually start, you find that it may well be X. And then you're still waiting for Y and Z to materialize. And that, in essence, as well, is what I mean by, are they actually being authentic, or are they, just doing the ego to, hey, aren't we good by saying that we do this, that, and the other, but they're not following it up. See, it's a bit like, and excuse the crudeness of this drawing, I turned back into my 3-year-old self to do this. So if anyone wants this, I can sign it, and I can actually send it over to you, so you can always put it on eBay if you can make anything out of it. There you go. Classic, I know. But in essence, this is purely to illustrate the point, because that, for so many people, is their true, authentic self. And that's the image that they're portraying to the outside world. And you notice there's quite a gap there for many people, and indeed many organisations. So hence the question right at the very beginning, who are you? And are you being your authentic self? Because apart from anything else, when you go back to that, when you've got that much of a gap, it's tiring. It's really tiring to put so much effort into the false persona, if you will, that it's draining. So when you get time to yourself, for an awful lot of people, it's just exhausting. Now, there is the term fake it until you make it. Yeah, I don't really like that particular term, I must admit. But there's times where, yes, I can understand that being used. However, so many people in organisations are actually using it all the time, and have actually been faking it for years. Yeah, and we're not going there with any innuendos or anything along those lines. Okay? See, there's so much in the media these days, especially social media, where you've got people that are actually doing that particular image. And that's it, there's quite a gap there then to their real authentic self. And the thing is, When you are being false, when you're putting on this different persona to so many other people, people will eventually see through it. Some people in a relatively short space of time, some it's going to take a bit longer. But ultimately, people will start to see through that. And that's when you get the proverbial arrows being sent, and fired at you. Okay? Now, in this day and age, especially when it's on social media, it's normally comments. But even so, there's still the proverbial arrows. Because if the comment is that specific, that direct, then it can hurt massively. It's as if it does break through the armor and go straight to the heart. Now, the reality is, if you're being your authentic self, are you going to have people that disagree with you? Yes, of course you are, because you're a human being. And other human beings are not going to have the same beliefs and values that you've got. And that's the reality of things. However, the big difference is when you're being authentic, when you're being congruent with yourself, then it's so much easier to deflect those proverbial arrows. Because the reality is, we know that the vast majority of people, as far as the world population are concerned, are actually in a negative state. The danger comes when you are putting on so much of a false persona, if you will, that when these arrows come through, that's when they hurt massively, because there is such a gap between being authentic and the persona that they are portraying. That's when people really struggle. Because the false persona is there, the true authentic self is there, and there's such a gap that when people start firing those particular arrows and they start breaking through that armor, they don't know how to behave, because there is such a void between the two. So doesn't it make sense to be authentic, congruent, and true to you? That's so key, to be true to you. Because you don't have to put any additional effort into being you, because it just happens naturally. And people get to fall in love with you for being who you are. Now, will you have changed over the last 10 years? Yes, because it's called life experience. But the core value is still the same. And I'm going to be gender specific with what I'm about to share now. And look, I'm not doing guys against girls or anything along those lines. It's true. Right? And that's the fact of, look, guys, be warned. If you're not aware of this already, be warned. When you're in a company of ladies, ladies have actually got this phenomenal knack. They were born with it. They've got this phenomenal knack of being able to gauge body language and understand body language far greater than what guys can. Unless guys have been trained in it, yeah? Now, there's always going to be the odd exception, obviously, but it's a generalization, that's the way it happens. So when guys aren't being congruent, then it's so much easier for ladies to actually pick up on that. And what a travesty that would actually be if it was a personal situation or indeed a business situation. That because we're not being true to ourselves, the ladies actually see through that and, hey, things change. Maybe the relationship's lost. Maybe a big business deal is lost. Who knows? But as far as both genders are concerned, doesn't it make sense to, hey, get rid of all the BS that's going around and just be honest. Just be true. Because the reality is, you, like I, are unique. And we've actually got so many different gifts to actually share with ourselves and then the people around us. Because we can impact people on a daily basis and quite often have a massive impact on their life without us even realizing, but they remember. And that's a special gift to have, especially when it comes from the heart. You're not doing it superficially. So I hope all that makes sense. And as I draw this particular weekly wisdom to a close, what I'll say is, wherever you've seen this, by all means, click on the comments below, and I'll look to answer all of those particular comments. But until next time we catch up, no matter where you are, whatever you're doing, keep on being special and keep on being your authentic self, because you are so unique that, hey, it's wonderful to be able to share this with you and just share some of your uniqueness. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to catching up with you soon. In the meantime, take care.